Welcome to the Leg It Podcast with myself, Tom Wickstead.
It's me, Andy Grant.
And so today we are just me and you, aren't we? So
it's been a while, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while actually, mate, yeah.
When we seem to bang out loads and then I'm like, I just miss having just a little ramble.
With our wiki.
Yeah. I feel a bit more at ease as well. Because when you've got a guest and you're a bit like...
Yeah, I think when there's a guest as well, it's you want them to make you want them to feel comfortable as well. And you obviously want to get the most out of them, and you don't want to just... I think with what we do as well, it's important to get people that, you know, don't just say two sentences answer, and then you're like, do you know what I mean, thinking of the next question as well. So, but I think we do all right, mate. I think we do all right. We've had some wicked feedback on the Jamie Carragher episode, and
yeah, that's why I thought it would be a good one as well, just to kind of look back, because we've done 50 now.
Yeah,
it's been a year.
Yeah,
how's it been for you, Tom?
Well, I remember when we got up at I remember the first ever one we did, which was Tubes, wasn't it? Soccer AM, where we got up at fucking 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, stupidly early, yeah.
We didn't record it because I didn't really know how to do all of this sort of stuff. Just nailed it down to Sky Studios, didn't we? Did it. Waited around for a bit we watched Soccer AM.
Yeah.
Watched Soccer AM.
Had a beer with Robbie Fowler.
Yeah. And then, and then we obviously did Tubes, and then it was a bit weird, I think, the first ever episode, because it's like I'd always done it on my own, and you'd obviously done things on your own, so it was like you kind of just need to get a feel for things. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's it going to go? What, you know, who asks what, that sort of thing. You're just an open conversation, but it's not an open conversation, is it? Because you've got 3 microphones in front of you. But I think that was good. And then after that, it's I've always had ever since I did my first ever interview, which was an absolute fucking shambles.
Why?
So I had a guy called, I think I mentioned before, Turney Duff on, who wrote a book called The Buy-Side. He was a Wall Street trader, and it all went Pete Tong for him. Had a big cocaine addiction, and all this crazy stuff happened. And I'd, being me, done it on the cheap. So I'd bought like a little... So I used to do it over Skype. So I got a Skype...
Yeah, I've seen a couple of yours on Skype.
Did a Skype interview, but I bought a cheap recorder online. And so...
Buy cheap, buy twice.
Exactly, mate. Pay peanuts, get monkeys. And so what it did was it recorded for 5 minutes, and then it said your trial is over.
Whilst the interview was going on?
And obviously I'd never done this before, and I was like, I said, Tony, sorry, the network, the connection's not the best.
Oh, what?
So yeah, that was the first ever one.
What happened?
Yeah. So I just had to quickly go online, get my debit card out, and pay for an actual proper recorder thing. Like a software thing. It's like 50 quid or something. And I just went, right, we're back on.
And it worked all right,
did it? It worked fine, yeah. I need to listen.
Fair play to you then to get it going quickly again.
I need to listen to it back, actually. Cause,
Unflappable Wickstead over there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so that was... Tubes was good. Really enjoyed that. It was quality, wasn't it? I think we came away from that thinking, yeah, this is... really enjoy this.
Yeah, I not just the thing though, mate, but like the relationship with you as well, mate. It was cracking day, wasn't it? Like even in the car, just talking shit in the car, and then fucking coming back up, and then all that. Yeah, I mean,
because I had a flight the next morning to with work to, of all places, Ivory Coast.
I remember.
And so all I wanted to do was have a beer with Robbie Fowler, and I was thinking in my head, my missus went mental at me as well when I got back. Because I was like, right, we'll get down there for 9, probably 11, 4 hours, but I'll be back for 3. It was like, it was 10 o'clock.
Fowler was like, you're hanging around after it, do you want a pint? I was like, because obviously you'd driven, I was like, please Tom, can we stay for a bit? I was like, Robbie Fowler's doesn't ask you to go for a beer, let's go for a beer. But yeah, the whole day was cracking, and what's hopefully good now is, now that we're 50 episodes in, we're a year in, we've got a decent following now than we had when we first started. It's a good opportunity to go back, because that Tubes one was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was.
I think someone like him in the public eye. We heard Carragher last week talking about the pressures of being in the public eye. Tubes isn't as famous in that sense, but remember him talking about everyone knew him on Soccer AM as this kind of funny guy, but yet he was secretly battling this alcoholism.
Yeah.
going to football every week. People are buying them beers, and it's like, this isn't fucking good.
Yeah, it's hard not to get caught up in that, especially if you're that sort of, choose, come on, let's have a beer, let's have a. Do you know what I mean? And then you know, it's difficult to.
I think myself, and I think we spoke at the time about this. If I ever tried to do a dry January, this sounds so stupid, but I was looking at the fixture list, going, well, I can't do that because we've got the Pearl at home then on the 10th of January. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beer and football, I think, go hand in hand for a lot of people, and Tube's podcast was a really, really good one.
Yeah, it was good, that.
And what's so good now about the podcast, and that's what I said it loads, why I love the podcast so much, and the book, is because when I had that documentary on ITV, I think saying you've got a documentary out on ITV sounds fucking cool. I think it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Prime time TV, if you like. Fuck, it was great for that 1 week. Do you know what I mean? And you went on your Sky app and you pressed the TV guide and there was a picture of me on it. I was like, fucking hell, this is like on demand and all that. It was cool. But then once the week was over,
it's all forgotten.
No one's ever seen it again. Do you know what I mean? With the book, I get random messages from fucking Australia. Just picked up your book, or it's great. The podcast, someone messaged me a couple of days ago, said, I've just listened to the Doc Lambert podcast. And again, that was one of the early ones we've done.
Yeah. That was the second one we did, actually.
Was it the second?
I think it was, yeah. That was the second one, yeah.
So the great thing is, you know, they're there for people to go back, and I think we kind of went strong too early. Not too early, but we went balls deep quick, didn't we? With some good guests.
We started off with 4 episodes, didn't we? Because I remember you saying, look, obviously it was 11th of Feb. It was the 11th of Feb, wasn't it? Yeah.
3rd.
Sorry, 3rd of Feb. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying 11th. 3rd of Feb. And obviously the whole premise of it was interesting people that you'd met, and obviously given the anniversary, interesting people you'd met in that 11 years. 10 years, sorry, yeah, it's 11 years this year. And I think, but it was good to go like that, because it sets the precedent for now that I remember when we did the John Bishop episode, and that was mad to think how long that ago that was. And we were like, once you've set that level now, it's like, right, come on, where's the next big one coming from? Where's the next big one coming from?
No, I'm glad we did it that way. The only shame is, though, that you're putting all these amazing stories out there, but at the time you've not got a following. That's the only downside to it, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like I say, the positive is they're there, so if people hopefully hear the Carragher one last week and they look into us a bit more, they can go, wow, well, they got the surgeon there who amputated Andy's leg, and it's not just about him amputating my leg. As you know, he's got a fucking incredible story, 35 years in the Navy. Got John Bishop. Whether you like his comedy or not, I thought it was a great story, rags to riches of working in a pharmaceutical company, and then bang, he's a comedian. And again, Tubes was a great one. What were some of the early ones then we done? Jamie Burdican. Paralympian tennis player.
What I will just before we say that, what I will say is that for anyone who it's a good example of how long things sort of take, is when we first started it, obviously no one was listening. Obviously there was people listening, but it wasn't to the level it is now. And when you start something like this, when you start anything, it takes such a long time you think, yeah, we're going to get John Bishop on, we'll have that. Next minute, we'll have a 4,000 square foot studio. We'll be bringing in people in left, right and centre. We'll have millions of followers on, but it never obviously works like that, and it just takes so much time, and just keep plodding along, an episode each week, whatever. If it's not podcasting, then it's something else that, you just keep plodding along slowly and slowly. You build something that, goes to...
And that's, I think, testament of mine and your passion for it, and anyone who does anything, the passion, because again, I know loads of people, and you'll know some of them as well, that have started podcasts and they're not doing them no more. And I always question, I know one guy, I'm not going to mention his name, and he done it. And I said I was going to do them, and this guy said, oh, I'm going to do them. I was thinking, oh, fucking hell, there we go. And he's done a couple and then doesn't do them anymore. And I just think it's down to, why were you doing it? Were you doing it to jump on the bandwagon? Were you doing it to make money? Were you doing it or were you doing it because of the reasons we were doing it? Because I fucking enjoy doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when we had Jamie Carragher on, when we stopped recording, I'm sure you wouldn't mind me saying this, but even he hasn't made a penny out of his podcast. So that's a testament. If
if, you know what, as well, I think's funny what he said as well, was he said that when you know, like you say, sometimes you think, and I know what social media is great in the sense that it's so much opportunity, isn't it? And you think, you look at some of the numbers people have got and the followers, and you think, if I get him on, they've got 1 million followers, he retweets it gets seen by 1 million people, that's potentially 1 million new followers, that's 1 million new hits, that's 1 million new downloads. Doesn't fucking work like that.
No.
Jay said to me that when he had Niall Horan on, you know, One Direction, he's fucking huge. I think when you look at the downloads compared to someone else, you're thinking, how has he not got as many downloads as someone else?
Yeah.
Considering his social media following.
Is
Do you know,
enormous.
it just doesn't work as you would think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And also, I spoke to Jockey from Transalpino the other day. He got banned off Twitter.
Yes, isn't he? What did he do again?
Posted a video or something, I don't know.
He does post a lot of random videos, doesn't he?
Some funny. But then, you know, I was texting him and stuff, and he made the point, and he said, you know, he's lost 40,000 followers, but he said, I've got 8 back on 24 hours or something. And he said, but you know what, that 8 might be stronger than that 40.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we were just saying to you before recording, I never look at the YouTube comments or views. Not that I don't care, because I do care passionately about this, but it's like I've had so many, probably 50 one-on-one interactions with people, either face-to-face, probably 50-50 face-to-face, and on social media directly messaging me saying how the podcast has affected them. Sometimes it's just a little one-liner. All right, mate, you and Tom doing a belter with the podcast, keep it going, lads, love it. Could be something like that, or it could be something a bit more meaningful.
Yeah.
I've had people messaging me saying, you know, it's made them kind of quit the job and go for a promotion in a new job, go for like a better job. People say that, you know, it's the morning ritual every Monday morning. They've got a 2-hour drive to work. I got stopped in Tesco the other day. Someone saying to me, I love the Carragher podcast.
The taxi driver.
I've had, like I say, probably about 50, probably more.
Some guy stopped you at Oxford Services, didn't they, or something?
Yeah.
Service station?
Yeah.
On the M40.
And I've had, this is going to make me sound weird, I've had people who look at me and I reckon they must go, I fucking know his face, and I reckon it's on the podcast. So my point is, I get so much enjoyment out of those interactions that I'm not bothered if fucking it's got 1 million views or not, because I know there's at least 50 people who are like loyal and are you know, and that's what Jockey meant about whether he's lost 40,000 or he's got 8. It's about the people who actually care about it, and that's, I think, the reason we started it, really, isn't it? Because there's so many stories out there and amazing people who, for one reason or another, haven't got like huge followings and stuff. I messaged the guy, actually, his name's Chris, about coming on the podcast. Hopefully he will. He's an amazing guy, and so he was in the army. He left the army and he went out to clear landmines in Africa, was blown up, lost a leg and an arm, and he went on to run marathons and do ultra races and climb mountains and done all kinds. And he, when I was choosing to have my leg amputated, I wrote him a letter, or I got in touch with him, and he wrote me a letter back, just saying, like, mate, listen, it's not the end of the world, you know, you can go on and achieve anything, look what I've done, this and this and this. Sent me his book. Now, on his Twitter, he's got about 500 followers. He is a fucking cool, fucking inspiring, heroic, amazing mentor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's got 500 followers, like, and that's what I hate about social media. It's like,
it means nothing. Yeah,
it means fuck all. Do you know what I mean? Why you can go and buy a load of followers, and suddenly, you know, a young impressionable person will go, oh well, he must be fucking cool. He's got 10,000 followers. Means fuck all. There's so many inspiring, amazing people out there who haven't got huge social media followings, and I guess the podcast has been a little bit about that, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, it's a good point. There's a guy who I know who, I've just spoken to, actually. I won't say his name, but he owns a huge company, and does about £130 million annual revenue, and he must have a few hundred followers, if that.
Yeah.
You would never know. But yeah, it's
the wisdom he'll have as well, and the stories he'll have, and just to fucking talk to interesting people.
Yeah, and some people want to keep their head below the radar, don't they? They don't want to, Right, so early episode. So let me just, the easiest way for me to do this is to...
Harry Finley, like, I'll just look at him there. he's a great one. He's a professional gambler, never worked a day in his life, I think that is bizarre. He's 50 odd and he's never worked a day. How do you do that? Hey, how the fuck do you do that?
I know. It's
he's made over what, 40 million or something, has he?
Yeah. And his house was lovely. We went down to his house.
Fucking really nice.
His house was in it was like Devon Way, wasn't it? Newton Abbot, that was it. Newton Abbott.
Next to a race course.
Next to a race, yeah. It was difficult trying to find that, wasn't it? When we were going down all those random lanes trying to find it.
We stayed in, he's got like a little outhouse that we stayed in.
Yeah.
He's fucking still doing well, put it that way.
His missus is like, come on, I need get a
Yeah. Paul Warren,
fair play.
Britain's most wanted criminal. He was a good one. Still friends with Paul now.
Yeah.
Jockey from Transalpino. Ian Sam, loads have messaged me about him, you know.
It's a really popular episode, that.
Yeah, and I always think it was a bit of a shit one because
his dog
was barking every 2 minutes and stuff. But we need to get Ian on again. He'd be great next time he's in Liverpool. Yeah. And that's what I mean. There was so many kind of real interesting stories that I just hope people go back and look at them because there are some crackers. And that's another thing, actually. People have messaged me and said they've started going back.
Yeah, it's good.
Which I think is quite nice.
As much as I really enjoy having this space that Rob kindly lets us have, and obviously it's dead easy for us both to get here. But I do really want to go on the road again because you know, if we can try and get. I know James Ketchell is up for it sometime, and he was based down near Reading Way.
Yeah, 100%. There's something nice, isn't it, about like
nailing it down there for it.
Yeah. And there's people as well, mate, who you know as well. Another thing which I hate, we speak about things. I hate not like building other people up. I've got no problem whatsoever saying fucking hell, go and listen to someone else's podcast. Like fucking hell, everyone.
Yeah.
Just fucking, you know. And I got put onto a podcast the other day called is it James English? Anything Goes. You heard of that? I think it's that. Let me just check. This guy's got a podcast, so again, make sure you're listening to the Legged podcast, obviously. But it's called
Anything Goes.
Yeah. I'd recommend listening to his podcast. I've been speaking to him. He's invited me on his, and I've invited him on ours. He's got a really good podcast, and it's a kind of like this. Just, you know, we just talk shit, and he's had some really good guests on. Now he's based in Glasgow, so that could be a little trip up there, Tom, if you fancy it.
Yes, I do reckon. Yes, I've listened to one of his.
I've listened to a few of them. They're really, really good.
So I've watched it, not listened to it, but yeah, definitely. There's another one I've been listening to actually is The Missing Crypto Queen, which is a BBC Sounds.
Okay.
Which is about this lady who it's one of the biggest scams in history. 4 billion. She created this
pyramid scheme thing.
Fake like Bitcoin, but it wasn't. It was called OneCoin.
Really?
And it was all through multi-level marketing and all this. Like it's I really like the documentary like style pod. You know, there's a series.
Yeah.
There's a lot of true crime stuff like that.
I do like it because the Carragher stopped his, hasn't he? There's a series like the Peter Crouch podcast is, and I do like that. But I also just like the Joe Rogan style, the way we are, where it's just fucking.
Yeah.
Well, ours is a bit regimented, and it's every Monday, but. I like the way he must just go, fuck it, we're doing 10 this week. Boom.
They just constantly come at you, don't they?
Yeah, it's just quite cool.
So, the John Bishop. So I remember the... I don't know if I should say this or not, but I remember you texting me going, mate, I've just been swimming with Alba or something.
Yeah, I remember.
You need to get to my house in 45 minutes. And I was at work and I went, I'm fucking out of here. I'm off ski. Literally just
good stuff.
Well,
I was just thinking, mate, like, it's not often. He's a busy man. Do you know what I mean?
Work, like, where are you going? Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, he texted me and I have no signal in the swimming bath for Alba. So I'd text him earlier on in the day and he went, I'll let you know when I'm coming over. And then I hadn't heard anything off him. I go swimming. I get out swimming and he'd messaged me about 20 minutes ago and saying, like, I'll be there in half an hour or something. And I was like, fuck, Tom, get in now. He's on his way. And he's such a fucking nice guy, John, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was good.
I felt terrible because my house was a fucking tip. I'd not long moved in. It's all getting renovated.
Where was Alba?
Alba had...
upstairs?
I think I dropped Alba off, I think. Or no, I put Alba next door with my dad. I think I had.
Just imagine this mad rush.
It's just,
Dad, where are we going? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But just go and sit with your granddad half an hour. And he was great, wasn't he? He's really good.
It's a good episode.
Just sitting in my bloody house.
That was. I remember driving back home, driving back to work after that, thinking. I always get quite nervous sometimes when I've got like the Jamie Carragher. I think if I have an accident or something, I've got all this audio here in my car, just like it's all on me now.
Do you find as well, and this is no disrespect to any other guests we've had on the podcast, but the likes of Jamie Carragher and John Bishop, you do feel that you just know that that's what they do. They're just so comfortable and confident in their answers, aren't they? And they're very elongated and they're very for example, not to pick holes in anyone, but say only because we had it on last week, like Caroline. She's someone who's never done this before, an amazing story, an amazing guest, had loads of great feedback from it. But when you're speaking to her and you ask her questions, she just answers them like you would in a normal conversation.
Yeah.
Where when you spoke to Carragher and John Bishop, they kind of know.
Yeah, they're just used to it, aren't they? Yeah.
They know to give you
a little bit more,
a little nugget that you think, oh, that'll be fucking
Yeah.
They're obviously just polished at what they do, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
They make you feel very comfortable when you're sitting with them. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I think the and we had Chris on as well, comedian. I think all
Chris Cairns,
all the comedians we've had on,
he was great. Yeah,
they're because they're so used to getting in front of
people interaction.
Yeah, and people interaction. They're just so confident, and to just be sat in a room with two other people is nothing to them,
Yeah.
So John Bishop was very good, and then we did a few back in your kitchen, didn't we? There.
Yeah, that was just me and you, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we did Paul
back on the
Weiss.
road again, down to Bristol to speak to Vicey. Again, Vicey's another guy who popular episode where he was blown up as well. I met Paul through our injury, through Headley Court, being injured together. Story similar to mine, lost his leg below the knee, but he had a far longer career in the Marines than me. So if anyone wants to know a bit more about the Marines, is a big good one.
Yeah, he was.
He's a funny lad as well.
You could tell he's got that air of him of what I can just imagine him in that war zone, sort of just commanding everything, just telling people fucking, with that air of just confidence and backs himself.
I never worked with Vicey, but I tell him this to his face. I think I have told him already, but I don't think I would have enjoyed. I would have enjoyed, but I would have been nervous working with him because he has got that aura about him within the core. I was a bit like.
Yeah, you can tell, and what he did with not Help for Heroes. Sorry, what's the sporting thing?
The Invictus Games.
Invictus Games.
Yeah.
Sorry, Invictus Games
he's done
as well.
Through that, yeah.
James Ketchell. That was another.
The only thing I'll say about James Ketchell, and I'll say it to his face next time I see him, because we're going to go and speak to him again. He's too clean cut. Do you know what I mean? What a fucking amazing guy. As far as adventurers go, is there anyone better? I don't he's bloody climbed Everest, rode the Atlantic Ocean, and flew around the world,
and cycled
around
the world.
And there was not one shagging story in there. Do you know what I mean? Or at least he wasn't telling us.
Yeah,
that's one thing that needs to get rectified, because come on, do you know what I mean? I felt like I was like, mate, this isn't like a motivational speech you're doing. Give me the dirt on what went down in some back street of alleyway of bloody Texas or something.
God, yeah.
But nah, he was a cool guy, James.
Yeah, he did his. I watched his vlog. He did like a vlog every day when he was flying around the world.
Yeah, I watched a few of them. Yeah,
and I think that is just
he's been requested again, hasn't he? Actually,
yeah.
Someone said
sent a name.
You've been getting on. He wanted updates, didn't he?
So we've actually sent James an email. So I think we were meant to be doing it around Jan, but other things came up. So that you've reminded me now, because I'll send him another email once we're done here, just to remind him. But and the fact that he had a full-time job, and he asked his boss, didn't he? Would it be all right if I just took a little bit of time off?
He was a great. It's funny, as we're going back now, I'm picking up on the little things that I took from each episode. He was someone where I thought, how many of us all say, I'm going to do this one day. Listen, I'm guilty of it. I said at the start of the year with you, I want to do acting lessons. I've not done one acting lesson yet. Do you know what I mean?
You're going to do stand-up comedy as
I've
well.
not done anything about that. How easy is it to say you're going to do it? And then suddenly, we're in the middle of February and 6 weeks have passed. And I've not done fuck all about it. He is someone who said, you know what, I want to do this. And he just went, fuck it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That takes some fucking balls to do that.
You would think, I remember having a conversation when we were driving back because we were in separate cars and you were saying, I'm really thinking about this rowing thing. I might do it with Ian.
I am. I have started the thing with that.
Have you?
But it won't be for a couple, because it takes so long. We're looking at 2022.
Really, yeah?
He's talked Gemma around into doing it.
Fucking hell.
So that's a slow burner, that one.
Because I remember him, because you were asking a lot of questions after we'd finished recording, and I think he might have even said it when we were recording, is that he'd hardly rowed on the sea before he crossed the Atlantic. He said, "Oh, yeah, you just go on a rowing machine or something." I think his
line was, "You've got 50 days to learn how to."
Yeah, that
row.
was it. Yeah, Yeah. Incredible. There's our man Harry
Finley. I'll be honest, was one of my favourites because, listen, I always feel a bit weird talking about gambling because in the past I did have a real bad problem, and in some ways I'm still paying for it in some weird ways type thing, and it is a bit of a. There are people out there who have lost everything and things like that, and so it's a bit.
You still gamble now though a little bit.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I still gamble now. It's just obviously under control now and stuff. But it's embarrassing for me to think back at the money I've lost. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking sad and it's fucking horrible. So it's a weird one to talk about, but I do enjoy gambling, and I think it can be enjoyable if done correctly. And he just fucking makes me smile, that man. How he's gambled all his life. He's 16, he's now 50 odd. He's won millions, he's lost millions, he's spent fucking loads, he's done this, he's done that. And I guess it's not so much the gambling, which I love. I just love the fact that, you can't spend it when you're dead. And he's just got that attitude of, fuck it, you know what I mean? And I'm going to go off on a massive tangent now and get a bit deep, but I just love, and I spoke about this the other day to a guy, I love people who, or I would love if kind of people didn't have to go through such despair and such life-changing events to realise that kind of light bulb moment to think, fuck it, we only live once, and it's the little things that are important. Like a guy, I done a talk at the Liverpool at Anfield for the LFC Foundation, and a guy from Africa, he'd been in Liverpool since he was 10, and he's talking, he come up to me at the end and he was like, wow, Andy, that talk was amazing, it really hit home. And that's what he said to me. He said, it's funny, you lost your mum at 12, you got blown up, and now you've got this attitude of life of just, being happy and, just living life. And he's like, I'm like that now because of the life I've come from in Africa, and I'm doing this. He's like, now every day I'm just like, yes. And he said, I wish these young people now, because he works with a lot of kids through the LFC Foundation, he said, I just wish that they didn't have to kind of go through such adversity or such a challenging time for them to one day go, actually, fucking hell.
Yeah,
this is my life.
This isn't a dress rehearsal.
This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is you get one chance on this. And I guess what I love about kind of Harry's attitude in life is through gambling, he's kind of lived that kind of, well, fuck it. I've got this, in the grand scheme of Earth's, how long Earth has been here, you add on it for what? No, times 1,000,000.1. Fucking have fun.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And I know that sounds a bit careless, because gambling, it can be fucking very bad. But I just mean it in the sense of do you know what I mean? Try and just fucking.
Yeah, I remember when we had a conversation about. I was asking, do you have any financial goals or anything like that? And you were like, I think you've said it on this podcast before. You're like, I don't have anything like that.
No.
I don't and also when you get, you got some fine through the toll bridge or whatever, and you say you're a bit blasé about things like that because I don't care.
Yeah, and it's like I say,
I'm not saying that in a bad way.
No, it's careless as well, though, isn't it? Really, it's quite careless. But at the same time, I kind of like how I'm like that. I spoke to my friend. I've got a good friend from school, Tom. He's doing really well in his business. He deals with properties and stuff. We caught up for a coffee the other day, And it was funny, we both had this kind of mutual respect for each other, but we were both so vastly different. He is working, like he's up at 6 every morning, he's working till 6 at night, and he's got this plan. I mean, he's like smashing it, he's doing this, he's doing that, and he's like, give me another 5 years and then I think that'll be me, then I think I'll be sorted, and I'm going to buy a house in Lanzarote, I'm going to do this, going to do that, and, that'll be me. And I was like, fucking fair play, mate, buzzing for you, you're doing really well, great. And he's like, what about you, what are you doing? I was like, you know what, mate, I'm take my little girl to school, I go to the gym, I walk my dog, I'm happy, man. And he was like, I'd fucking love to be like that. And I was like, I'd fucking love to be fucking having millions, what you?
Yeah.
And it was weird the way that you can both live your life differently, but you can sometimes want other things.
Yeah, the grass is always greener, yeah.
And that's what, and when I said to you on the phone the other day, I listened to a Tyson Fury interview, and I am the poor man's Tyson Fury going on this interview, because he said something that resonated with me so much, and it comes back to that point. Once you've been through like difficult times, you maybe have a different view on life. Now, he's been through his depression, he nearly committed suicide, he's made his millions, he's travelled around the world, he's had a lifetime of getting fucking punched in the face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Me, completely different. Never made millions. I have been lucky enough, I have travelled all around the world. I've done some crazy things. I've jumped out of bloody planes. I've been in helicopters. I've done pretty cool stuff. So I feel I have lived a cool life, as I suppose Tyson Fury's lived a cool life. I've done. Again, I'm not trying to compare me at all to Tyson Fury, but I mean, I've had a taste of the glitz and the glamour, if you like. I've done random things. So I feel like I've done a lot in that sense. But I've had this kind of tragedy and adversity along the way, like Tyson Fury has. And in this interview, he says, when I retire from boxing, I can't wait on a Monday morning to go and get my car valeted. On Thursday, I do the tip run. I want to get a couple of dogs and train them up. I want to do the school run every day. And I'll probably just be happy and content living in Morecambe, seaside town where not much goes on. That's fucking me.
Yeah.
Honestly. I am like I said this to my dad the other day, I might have said it to you. If someone give me £1 million now, my life wouldn't change. Like, genuinely though, like, if someone give me £1 million...
Yeah, wouldn't that? Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
I don't know what... I'd probably get a different car, but I've got a little Astra at the moment. I hate cars.
I've got no interest in...
They don't fucking bother me whatsoever. I can't be fucking arsed with them. So I'd maybe get a new car, possibly. I don't think I'd change my house. I live by my dad. I love seeing him. I see him every day. Best mates with my dad. I live handy to where Alba's school is and Alba's mum is, so I couldn't go and fucking buy a house an hour away in Cheshire with me $1 million, because I've got a daughter who doesn't I don't live with, so I couldn't. That's fucking pointless. I wouldn't necessarily move.
Sorry, mate. Talking about when I watched an interview with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, and they said that once they got over a certain level, they're, like you just said, nothing changes for them, because there's only so much money that, like, the only thing that they now have is the only thing that they can't control is time, the ability to buy time. Everything else, once they'd hit that certain level, a house, there's only so many houses you can buy. Like, there's only do you know what I mean? It just becomes so, nothing really changes.
And the only thing is different, there's levels, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their levels are obviously, I mean, my levels are obviously fucking nowhere near that at all. But I just mean, it's because of the life I've had, if you like. And this is what I'm trying to stress, is that I wish people didn't have to go through the shit maybe I've been through, of like losing my mum when I was young, getting blown up, losing a leg, losing the ability to have kids, losing your career, all that stuff, to realise that actually, you know what, I've got a roof over my head, I've got a fucking shitty Vauxhall Astra, but you know what, I work as a speaker, I love my job, I get to take my little girl to school, I go to the gym every day, I walk my dog, I do a passion, which is the podcast, I go and watch Liverpool, which I enjoy doing. Like, I don't know, like what,
going to Vegas.
I save up, I'd go do me I do what I want when I want, because I kind of sacrifice things. I work to do the things in it, but it's like, rather than just kind of, I don't know. I hope I'm trying to get this point
Yeah, I
across
know
the
what you're
right
trying to
way.
say.
Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah. No, I get
I
it.
just
Yeah.
think I just love that. Like Tyson Fury said, he loves the little things. Do you know what I mean? And I just fucking love doing the kind of little things in life.
And if that makes you happy, then that's all you could ever ask. Do you know what I mean? If buying a new Lamborghini made you happy, then
crack on, yeah,
crack on.
But I just think, yeah, I'd still go to the same gym. I'd still do the same things. I'd still do the podcast. I'd still do all these things. I just think the only thing would be different is when I put my card in the bank machine, it'd say £1 million.
Yeah, that's the only difference. Yeah, exactly. I wonder if it's the same for footballers as well, you know, like when they suddenly go from, because surely there's a level from, obviously I don't know what they get paid in the academy, it depends on the player, but I wonder if that suddenly, like, that jump in income really makes a difference. I imagine it probably does.
Well, I'd like to think, we obviously spoke to Carrick last week. You've seen how down to earth he is. He's still in, you see in the gym we go to, it's a fucking box standard gym, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know how much he's fucking worth, but he's obviously done alright out of football. He still lives a normal life, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It was just a normal gym with very creaky doors. People kept them walking.
Which he didn't like.
Next one was Paul Cheetham from Sadulo.
I put so many people onto this podcast. You know, when I speak to people who are kind of entrepreneurial type people, I always say go and listen to him.
And he's opening a new office in Liverpool.
Yeah, we need to do another one with him, really, don't we?
Yeah, we will do. So that was 14 episodes, which we did out and about. And then, which seems crazy, on the 15th episode, that was the first ever time we did in Rob's office here, which was a bit mad with
Dave Bolton.
Dave Bolton, yeah.
Yeah, his was, he's got just a crazy story of just life being a bit unfair, hasn't he? Surviving cancer, brain tumours, motorbike
accidents, yeah.
I got him a speaking gig actually the other day. There was I had 2 speaking gigs in one day. Couldn't do one, so I passed one on to him, and apparently he was a great success.
Yeah, really nice guy. Used to be in the police, didn't he? And then
yeah, we had the PT on.
Chris Tomlinson, yeah.
Webster was a great one.
That was quality, that, wasn't it?
We should get Webster on. He's just released a new tune.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Living for Yesterday. It's a really good song. Yeah, we should get him in just to talk a bit more about his personal goals in music.
Yeah, he...
But his story comes back to what I was saying then about just following a passion. And I know it is difficult for people to follow a passion when you've got responsibility and, you know, you've got mortgages and there's kids and a wife and stuff like that. And I 100% get that. But it doesn't have to be a passion that's going to change your life financially. I just mean do a passion that's going to make you happier.
Yeah.
Like this podcast for me is a passion that's made me happier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd hate people to think, it's alright Andy fucking saying that he's fucking got pensioned off by the Marines, he's got time to do that. I get that, I'm in a fortunate position. What I mean is, if you can create an hour of your day somewhere to just do something that you're passionate about with a friend on your own, whatever, a new hobby, fucking do it. Whether it's going to make you millions or not, as long as it's going to make you a bit happier, it's fucking all that matters.
Yeah. We've all got the same 24
and that's
hours.
What Webster's
as well.
done, do you know what I mean? He's fucking picked up a guitar, combined his passion with football and music, and
we did that back in May, and he just stopped his because he's an electrician, isn't he?
Yeah.
It
was kind of around that time, wasn't it?
He just stopped because he used to work with his dad, didn't he? And he'd been doing, obviously now he does it full time as such, doesn't he? And just the stories he's got from that, and being, you know, like picking up a guitar in front of you know, because he was nervous what people would think and things like that. And look at it now. Yeah. Look at him back in Madrid last year in front of 50, 60, probably more thousand people.
Selling out gigs now in Liverpool, London. Yeah. I had tickets for his gig when I'm away next week. I had to fucking sell tickets.
The Weekend in Paradise song that was in the iTunes charts.
And it was amazing. So proud.
Incredible.
Jazza, wow, what a guy he is.
That was the first time I'd ever met Jazza. How did you know Jazza?
I've known Jazza for years. Well, known of him for years anyway. I remember there was a documentary on about him when he was going to be on the Olympic squad. And there was just something about him that he was going into homeless shelters. You could just tell he was not just a boxer. You could just tell he was obviously a nice guy, and there was something very different about him, something very likeable. And I just always followed his story since.
He's fantastic on Instagram, on his stories.
He's brilliant. He's so inspirational, I think. I think that's the big thing about inspiration and motivation. It comes in so many different forms, I think. Just being around someone who's just got that different energy is inspiring
Yeah.
sometimes, isn't it?
He's got so much energy, hasn't he? When I think sometimes when I've been through his stories on Instagram, I think he's been up at crazy o'clock in the morning, run the Everton Hill. Is it Everton Hills?
Yeah.
Yeah. Run then back in the gym and yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, so funny. So
He is.
funny.
Hello, Family.
He's got a fight coming up as well, so best of luck, Jazza, in your fight.
We did a Champions League final sort of
That was a good one, yeah.
special, which was with Jockey, Paul, and
Peter
Hooten. Yeah,
Yeah, that was really good. That was an exciting time as a Liverpool fan as well, obviously, with the Champions League final coming up.
it was a really good episode. That I really enjoyed it.
It was
I
good
kind of
fun.
just stood from the sidelines a little, just because obviously they knew a hell of a lot more than I ever will know, specifically about going to Liverpool games, etc. But it was nice to just sit in that conversation.
Yeah.
And
A lot of guys who've been to a lot of football matches
Yeah.
between them. There's JF tattoo fixes.
yeah,
That was quite a fun one, wasn't
yeah.
it?
My missus really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it was a
really,
funny
really
one.
enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Jay was an interesting one because he kind of just went to fame overnight, didn't he, really, with that? Because when I met him, when he done my tattoo, I think he had like 2,500 followers. He's got fucking hundreds of thousands now.
Yeah. And he was talking, I remember when he was talking about doing celebrity appearances, the first ever celebrity appearances that he was doing. And he was like, so we get paid to go to a
Oh, yeah.
nightclub.
Yeah, it's madness.
Steve Saunders.
You put me onto this guy, didn't you? We'll put us onto him.
Yeah.
He was great, him. I really, really, really enjoyed him.
A lot of, that's Rob's favourite episode, actually.
And that's what I mean. I've done that on my birthday, 17th of June. See that I mean? 736 views. I think that's like criminal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean about, because we done some so early. Or
Yeah,
only
yeah.
20 in. He was such a fucking interesting guy. Really, really interesting. Like a hostage negotiator. How many people have had a conversation with a hostage negotiator?
Yeah.
And that kind of sums up why I wanted to do the podcast. How often do you get to fucking speak?
Yeah.
If I got in touch with him and went, all right, mate, my name's Andy, you don't know me, but I'd just love to fucking hear some of your stories. Can you come and just sit in my house and talk to me? He'd be like, who the fuck are you? You weirdo. Do you know what I mean? But you say to him, yeah, I'm going into podcast and I put a mic in front of you. Now will you tell me some stories?
Yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah. And he came all the way from London to do that.
Yeah.
And he works, because I've texted him. I text him a few times. Like, he texts me on New Year's Day saying, I hope you have a good, Happy New Year and all that lot. And he works for some family, some rich family.
He couldn't tell us.
He couldn't
he?
tell you, no. Couldn't tell us who. But
It was Tom's grandparents who were minted in London.
he works for some crazy family, and he just works like an absolute.
They're probably not
horse.
crazy. You mean crazy rich?
Crazy rich, sorry,
Yeah.
Crazy rich, yeah.
Well, he might be crazy as well.
Yeah, probably are actually. So, and he works obviously.
The best bit about that story, well, not the best bit, but the bit I was like, are you taking the piss? He says all the amazing, crazy hostage negotiator stuff, and at the end of it, he goes, I used to be a priest.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? But then it made sense, really, didn't it? Because he's had to deal with, compassion and being, being with someone at the time of when they're upset, and, so actually, yeah.
Very calming sort of person.
He had a really cool voice, didn't he, from what I
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah. And what I found interesting as well is he always used to so whenever I spoke to him, and he wouldn't mind me saying this, is he always did everything over WhatsApp. Everything. Whether it was calls, texts, everything over WhatsApp. And on the journey back from here, dropping him back off at Manchester Piccadilly, I was like, Steve, can I ask you a question? I was like, why do you always use WhatsApp for everything? He said, I thought you were going to ask me that. He said, end-to-end encryption. So
Really?
he's still thinking about everything that he says and how it's encrypted and everything, yeah.
So we won't ever send a normal text?
No. Does everything over WhatsApp.
What about emails? Must do emails, surely.
Must do, yeah.
So we won't have a normal call, like cellular call, It's always over WhatsApp.
Everything, yeah. Because he was.
Do you ever find though when you do a WhatsApp call, there's like a slight delay?
Yeah.
Pisses me off. That's why I end up just going.
Yeah, I know. I never really. I just call people on normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. I think maybe that's in line with what he does at the moment, which we don't
It's
know.
interesting. I didn't really
Yeah.
think of that.
Yeah.
You think about mad things, you know. It's great to have you here because loads of people have said to me, go, you ask some fucking random but boss, I wouldn't think to fucking ask. I would never go to someone, why do you always use WhatsApp? I'd be like, what are you on about, you weirdo?
Yeah, but I just thought it's peculiar for someone to just only use. I thought, why would you?
Messaged me actually. I don't know whether that's made me think now because he's texted me a couple of times and I'm thinking, has he messaged me on?
It will be, guarantee. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, what are you going to do if he's text me?
I'll bet my house on it. He's texting you over WhatsApp.
It is. It's on WhatsApp.
You knew it, yeah. Thought it would be.
Yeah, it is. Tom.
Yeah. Don't fuck about, do we?
Well done, Tom. Bren Orton, he was a cracker. I bet that hasn't got many views.
Yeah.
400. Fuck me. Get on the Bren Orton one. Professional kayaker.
I would say that obviously YouTube is a bit funny because sometimes the videos go crazy. Like Harry Finlay. I think it's like 16,000 or something.
That's because I think, which is quite sad about maybe our fucking human race, the tagline and that is making millions or something and spending it, isn't it? So people just think, fucking, how do you make millions or something? Maybe. I don't know. Not many people
I need to upgrade our title description, I think, to just pick
maybe a good time to say, well done, Tom, because you are the one who does all this. Yeah, I feel really lazy in the sense that I don't really contribute a hell of a lot at anything, really, apart from the guests. But you have smashed it, Tom, so
nice for my
absolute legend, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Tom does all the social media, and you can see through the videos all like the little snippets and the tags and the thing. They all look so much better now, and they've just it's amazing. And the following is all down to you, Tom. So nice one.
Yeah. I enjoy going through them actually. I really enjoy it. Really enjoy doing all the so we've got 2 cameras here, so literally just get all of the footage from one camera and then the other camera and literally just put it together and just watch it back. Yeah, it's nice.
Bren's was great, mate. He's a lad from Warrington. I think he holds a world record.
Yeah.
Like he's someone I think, as a young aspire. Yeah, so I done a thing for Merseyside Police last week and it was all about this No More Knives campaign and stuff and about trying to teach young people that there are so many opportunities out there. You just need to go and look.
Yeah.
Living in the Northwest, like me and you have grown up, and someone said to you can be a professional kayaker, travel around the world, and just live off doing kayaking, you'd go, where the fuck am I going to learn to do that? Yeah. Well, I would anyway.
Yeah.
I live in Bootle.
Is there a canal nearby?
There's the Leeds Liverpool Canal at the bottom of my road. Do you want me to get on there and dodge the shopping trolleys? Like, do you know what I mean? That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
What, Dad, can you buy me a fucking kayak? He'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's a lad who's turned a passion into his job and now travelling around the world.
Go around the world. Nepal,
Olden World Records from bloody going down waterfalls in a fucking kayak.
That Big Banana Falls.
Amazing.
100 and something foot drop.
A young lad, really, really inspiring. I think really cool guy as well.
Had an accident, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he had to get stretchered out. It took him
unconscious.
2 days or something, like a day. Yeah. It took them hours to get out.
In Canada it wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's all coming back to me now. Like, oh mate, this was a cracking story.
It was good, wasn't it?
Pisses me off that no one's listened to. Well, 400 people have, but
well, it's different on the actual.
Oh yeah, the download.
On the downloads, well, I guess, because to be honest, I watch a few things on YouTube, but the majority of stuff I watch, I listen or when I'm driving. Do you know what I mean?
Same. But this is a good one, yeah. Number 24.
What were you going to say then? You spoke to someone?
Don't know.
No.
Mustn't have been that exciting.
So you can see there, I tried to. This is. You can tell my editing skills have slowly started to be upgraded here because I've gone from...
No, you can tell looking at the latest ones. The Carragher one was the beast, the thumbnails and stuff for it.
Yeah, I've just realised how important thumbnails are actually because people don't even bother read. They just look at what the actual picture says.
Yeah.
So you can see there little green thing with...
it's improving.
It took me probably 8 hours to do that.
Yeah, Jazz's was that good.
So we went to Jazz's fight, didn't we? I rocked up in my best
That's
suit.
funny that. So anyone who's ever been there at the Olympia for one of the fights there and a Scouse boxing crowd, that just speaks for itself. I just turned up like a normal Scouse lad, I guess. Tom turned up in a fucking 3-piece suit, which was quite funny.
all the boxing stuff I've ever been to, it's all, you know.
Yeah, this is the Olympia, mate. The fucking home of boxing in Liverpool.
That was
a good night, though.
Yeah,
loads of people love Jassa, just his infectious personality. So we had to have him back on, and again, he was a cracker again.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Because I remember I wanted to chat with him after he just, let's come on, let's go on.
I feel shit about that because I said no. I was like, mate, we can't.
And he was like, you should have come up and said.
The way you were dressed, we could have just said you were his fucking agent. I was speaking about the Lisa Gawthorne one the other day. So a couple of guests we got coming on, lined up a couple of guys, really cool. They're vegans, but kind of like Lisa, like not like preachy vegans or anything like that. Just really two young, the brothers, good-looking lads, young, fucking cool Scousers. And I think that's a big thing about what they're doing. I'm not going to give too much of their story away because they'll tell it far better than me. But they're all about, you know. Well, they said a great line. So they're about healthy eating, clean eating, and all that, healthy mindset, and all that kind of stuff. And they said, you know, that they want to try and make Liverpool like the place for it. And they said a great line. They said Liverpool's such an amazing city. It's that we've got the power to come together when there's such tragedy. For example, like Hillsborough, or you know, when there's political uproar, Liverpool comes together as a city, and it's like fucking hell. No one can, you know, touch us because we're fucking that strong and united. And he said, why does it take though tragedy or challenging circumstances to create that? Why can't we just go, look, everything's all right at the moment. Let's just all come together and make it fucking boss. Like, do you know what I mean? And I thought, how true is that?
Yeah.
So they're creating a movement at the moment. These two brothers, they're amazing, and they're gonna be coming on. But they're both vegans, and they were speaking about Lisa, and they listened to the Lisa podcast. Said it was really good.
Oh, good.
They said like she obviously really knew her stuff, and that's coming from a vegan.
She did.
So
and when we
Jack and Ethan, the names are, by the way, but yeah.
And when we were recording that, the Game Changers documentary hadn't been out.
Yeah.
And she obviously said, you need to get onto this Game Changers documentary, and look how big that's become now. And
we could maybe, when we get Jack and Ethan on, talk about the kind of counter arguments.
Yeah.
We'd maybe have to look at the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, because there are a few counter arguments, aren't there?
Yeah.
About it, and the data that they got and everything.
Yeah, so we could maybe put a few questions to them.
But I will say it was a very, very convincing documentary.
Yeah, and having Lisa on was very convincing.
Yeah.
Anyone who's thinking about food and thinks about, you know, listen, I'm probably not a great one to talk to. I look at food, it's fucking just throw it in me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
It fuels me, that's it. I don't care if it tastes that good or not. Some people are big foodies though, aren't they, and love what they eat. If you're into your foods and you're into your healthy eating and you're into saving the planet, which I guess we all should be really saving the planet, but you know what I mean, listen to that podcast because Lisa's very knowledgeable, really cool, super fit and healthy, and like it does a great argument for it.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't fucking argue.
And she brought us treats as well.
And she bought us some great treats.
Everything, there was like vegan Percy Pigs, I remember.
Vegan
something.
hot chocolate, I think.
Yeah.
It was good.
Actually, talking about documentaries, Game Changers it won an Oscar the other day for best documentary. It's called The Factory. It's on Netflix, actually.
Yeah.
It's about a Chinese billionaire that goes into America and builds a factory, and the differences between the American workers and Chinese workers. It's a really good documentary.
Or what? Like, give me a snippet. Like what?
So, I mean,
like working.
So they were basically, it was in Detroit, I think, where GM Motors were, and obviously in 2008, GM collapsed, and everyone was.
That in Detroit, was it? Sorry,
Detroit. Yeah. Detroit. Yeah. What did I say?
I don't know. You might have said Detroit, but I was like,
yeah, Detroit.
I was thinking Eminem.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And so obviously they followed the closure. They got clips of the closure and everything, and people with, huge unemployment around there because that was a huge, big part. The work, huge large portion of the workforce worked at GM and was around vehicle manufacturing, that sort of thing. So this, they followed a few people from applying to this company that said they were going to open this brand new factory. It was a glass factory, so they make glass for cars, for Audi, for all the big manufacturers, Toyota, etc. And it was just when they were opening it, going through the opening of the actual factory and building the factory, through to how the factory employees were being treated. They needed to work quicker because they looked
in
at
China.
In the US.
Okay.
The Chinese workers. So they brought a selection of Chinese work. I don't know if I'm explaining this quite well, but they brought a selection of Chinese workers over to start them off in this American factory. And the Chinese workers were saying the American workers have got fat fingers, they can't work very quick, and all this stuff. Yeah, just really, really interesting.
I'll have to watch that.
And the factory wasn't making profit; it was losing money. The factory workers said they were being worked too hard. It was dangerous. The Chinese workers were just picking glass with little gloves out and just not even bothered working, literally working non-stop for a month. These American workers obviously wanted to just work 8 hours and all that sort of stuff. They tried to bring a union in to the factory workers in America, tried to bring a union in, and the Chinese factory owner was obviously not happy about that because it would slow down pretty. Yeah, it was just a really good documentary.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. The Obamas funded it as well. Really good. Really good. So that's one to
Danny Nico was the next one. He was really good, talking about the boss nights. And again, just another young Scouse lad who, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but does that thing of just normal job and all that, but I think acknowledges that, you get one life, try new things, push yourself, have a go at doing something. If you think you can have a go at doing something better, then do it. He created, with a few of his mates, Boss Night. And
I've still got some two. He gave us 2 fanzines, old copies, and I've still got them in my on my bookcase actually.
So really, really inspiring listening to him.
Chris Cairns
was great, mate of mine. He's one of the funniest people I know. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think.
So always remember that time where he said he was buying a car.
Yeah.
And the woman. Or some woman came to look at his car, and I think he had a daughter or something, and he had loads of toys in the boot. And she said, "Oh, have you got a daughter?" I can't remember exactly, but this woman said, "Oh, have you got a daughter?" He said, "No, I'm a paedophile."
Yeah. His wife was like, "Chris, we're meant to be fucking selling a car. Stop fucking staring jokes." Yeah, he's a really nice guy. So he runs the Laughter House on Slaughter Street in town. So.
Some ones with me and you there, and then so then we
and Tony Dodson were next to each other.
Again, you can see my
Tom's YouTube skills are coming up,
being upgraded.
Yeah,
Kev was a really, really interesting episode, that as well.
I think they were both similar, weren't they? Because they both big, strong men in sport, speaking about mental health, speaking about the pressures of sport, family life, how it affects them. And how not only, you've got to manage that professional life in the public eye, to also your personal life and all the troubles that go on in everyday life that everyone has to deal with.
If we ever get him, Kev, back on, then I'd love to, because after that I sort of started watching YouTube. There's a number of YouTube videos on some of the goals he's done, and he's done some absolute...
Oh, he's great footballer, yeah. Great, yeah. So him and Kev's and Tony's were really, really well received. I remember at the time getting loads of messages about them too.
I do remember the first ever time I thought, after we finished that Tony Dodson episode, it was 2 hours, 10 minutes there, I just thought he would make such an opinionated, fantastic commentator that has it's just a...
He reminded me a bit like Carragher, but in a boxing kind of way.
The way that you can literally just... I remember I asked him a question, and it was on the more recent one. I said, "What do you think of the YouTube?" I didn't even have to finish the question, and he went, "Fucking!" Just has an opinion about it, which is fantastic.
And he's the type, like Carragher said, a great thing for a pundit to do is to say why.
Yeah.
You're going to say YouTube, why? Why is it when? Yeah. And then he's off then, isn't he?
Such a good point that Carragher made is like, because it does, when you just, a lot of the times we just go along, yeah. But if you actually throw that curveball and just go, why?
Yeah.
Silence. They're like, fucking hell, the Knicks.
I think that's what like big bosses do really well, great leaders, and someone will say something, you say, well, how? Or tell me then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't say a lot.
Yeah.
But you, come on, you tell me. That's what I'm paying you to do. Tell me, go on.
Yeah.
Or why should we? Why, you know?
Billy Moore,
fucking hell, this is a crazy story, which so crazy he's got a film out. That's my goal, big goal. What Billy's done, have a film. I think I had a little documentary on ITV. Billy Moore, I think that's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it
you've
was
got a film
the
about,
film on Amazon Prime. I watched it on Amazon
Prayer
Prime.
Before Dawn.
Prayer Before Dawn. Yeah, it was. My missus actually couldn't watch it, you know, because at times
it's quite graphic.
It is quite graphic.
He's a nice guy as well, really nice guy.
Just to think he was sat in front of what he's seen and gone through.
Oh, mate, I know.
Jesus, tonight.
Yeah.
Andy Firth.
Andy Firth, really, really nice young lad. I'd say like a model professional, just so down to earth and humble.
Yeah.
You know, great at football. Signed a new contract at Rangers, and really nice guy. You know, he's home from Scotland and gave up his time to come and see us, and just gave us an insight on being a professional footballer, which I thought was great because we'd only had Kev Ellison on a few weeks before, so you'd had it from a kind of older head to a younger head. You know, which was brilliant. And really top lad, Andy.
Brian Reed. That was such a good episode.
That was one of my favourites. I think I've said that about 10 times already now, but that definitely was one of my favourites. Brian. Obviously, I'm good friends, very good friends with his son, Phil, who wrote my book. But Brian, well-respected journalist with the Daily Mirror, he wrote for the Echo. And just a really funny guy.
It's just an interesting thing, like, just, obviously I'm not from Liverpool, so even some of the politics around it, you know, the differences, he mentioned the differences between Liverpool and Manchester. You know, you only have to drive into Manchester, and I spend a lot of time in Manchester, and you just see the amount of building work that's going on there and the differences and the money that's been spent in Manchester versus Liverpool. You know, it's...
He's so funny the other day. If you don't follow Brian on Twitter, you should go and follow him because... he had a bit of a spat with Alan Sugar the other day.
He did, yeah.
That's quite funny. So I fucking hate politics, but I don't even know the difference between the House of Lords and House of Commons. Some of them are elected, aren't they? And some of them are just like it's a privileged position or something. And so Lord Sugar got his peership, is that what it's called? Peerage from Labour, didn't he?
Yeah.
But now he's not Labour anymore, is he?
Oh, is he not?
But he still, I don't think so, but he still holds that.
Right.
And I think Brian had a swipe at him and said, like, fucking give it back then or something.
So what actually, did Brian tweet him or something? And
he just wrote it in his column. He mentioned... I stand with Brian on this. He said something... It was when the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle thing was going on. And it was about them moving... I've met Harry a few times and Meghan. Really nice, just normal couple. That's fine. I don't agree with, though, them getting a £2 million refurbishment and then saying, oh, we don't want this now, moving to fucking Canada. All tax. When I've just got a big fucking tax bill, by the way, last fucking month.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where's that tax fucking money going?
Yeah.
So that's what I don't agree. Anyway, so Brian just wrote a piece saying, it's bollocks, basically. Saying with Lord Sugar. And he just mentioned Lord Sugar. And then Lord Sugar tweeted him saying, like, fucking what an idiot he was or something like that. And, it was quite funny.
Do you want me to find it?
Yeah, if you can, yeah. It was quite funny, though. But I just like Brian Reed's columns in the Mirror because he doesn't mind having a swipe at people who, you know, maybe live in a privileged lifestyle and that they shouldn't or something.
Here we go.
Is this it?
So Lord Sugar, the Daily Mail was once a good paper. So Lord Sugar said this, and this is in quote. So the Daily Mirror was once a good paper, but they have stooped low, employing a prick like Brian Reed, who in his article about Meghan and Harry, he managed to insult me in a manner that was completely out of context with his trash story. #Tosser Reed. And
so
then
number one, he's Brian's been at the paper for fucking about 30 years.
Has he?
So,
of course he has, yeah, because he was.
So how we could say they've stooped low in employing him? Fucking, he's been there 30 years.
And then Brian put, "Thank you. It's an honour to be called a prick by the planet's biggest scrotum." #hand your titles back to Labour.
Yeah,
it was good though.
Brilliant. And I looked through all the kind of things, and everyone was on Brian's side. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't much support. Do you ever do that on Twitter? You have a look, and then if it's got a bit of traction, you just look at the other comments and stuff, and you can see whose side people are on and stuff. Yeah.
I do still think, and not to go too much into it, I'm surprised that the royal family's still going, you know, in this day and age. I really am.
Yeah.
I just think ever since, remember in 2008, everyone was thinking about, you know, all this money that's going to them and everything. I just think I'm just surprised it still exists, you know.
You know what I wouldn't mind wanting to do? I know a lot of podcasts and YouTube channels have done stuff like this. I know we haven't really. We haven't touched on many conspiracy theories, but I think we should talk about the royal family. How the fuck has this Prince Philip thing just been swept under the carpet?
Yeah, I know, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? They're making more of a thing about Meghan and Harry than.
And that's what I think. Like, how is the royal family allowed to fucking still?
Than Prince Andrew, yeah. It's mad, that, isn't it?
Does she even live in Buckingham Palace?
Who?
The Queen.
Yeah.
Does she actually live there?
Yeah.
So who lives in Windsor Castle?
Good question. No idea.
Like, these big fuck off buildings, like.
It is mad, isn't it? It is. That's what I mean. So you think there's so much people always trying to raise money for different charities. You look at the air ambulance, that's not government fund. They have to raise their own money. And you just think, you do think in the world now of, like, if you picked up people and if you picked up an alien civilization and brought them here onto this into the UK, and they said, what are those people doing in that big house? And they own all this property and they get all this, and you'd go, you'd try and explain to him, you go, well, they live there because it's like a big family that's always been, but why? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, well, if you went to like an alien, you went, right, listen, let me tell you a bit about Earth. It's it's a really friendly place, and on Earth there's a country called England, and England's probably it's got the most money, and it's probably the friendliest place you can come to, and it's probably one of the best countries to live in if you wanted to live. And the alien said, okay, well, tell me a bit more. And then, and then he visited here. And then you went, right, in that big castle there, it's got 100 bedrooms, but only 10 of them get used. And there's, say 20 people that live in these 10 bedrooms. And then in this area up north, there's 90 people who live on the streets. And you go, well, why don't the 90 just live in that big house? Oh, well, no, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Well, why? Like you just said, well, they've always lived there because it was in their family.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why? What's wrong with their family? Oh, well, their family are all drug addicts and fucking, never been able to get jobs, and that's just all they've known. So they've never been able to get from the streets. How is it even a thing in this day and age?
And then on Christmas Day, this old lady has a little bit of a 10-15 minute speech. And everyone sits down and watch it at about 3:00. But why? Why did you do that?
I spoke to a lad in a bag on my haircut last weekend. My mate Chris cuts me hair. Someone was taking a piss out of the Royals or something, and he went, "I quite like the Royals." I was like, "This isn't me sitting on the fence at all because I am against the Royals, but I do actually like Harry. Like, he sound like, well, not that I go for a fucking pipe with him, like, but." I've met him a few times. I've met a few of the Royals, and I quite liked him and Will when I met them. But I don't agree with fucking what it is. It's a fucking load of shite, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like, it is a load of shite.
People always say, yeah, but it brings so much tourist in. So does the London Eye.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Fucking so does Liverpool.
Yeah.
Fucking winning the fucking Champions League.
Yeah. All the tourism wouldn't stop if...
Nah, people would still come to visit London, believe me.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, we should get like a conspiracy theorist in about the royals and stuff, because even going back to things that I don't like, how did it even... I think people expect if you're in the military or a military man to know your history of the royals. I don't know fuck all about any of it.
And you fought for Queen and country as well?
Apparently so, yeah. Apparently. I just think it's fucking mad, isn't it?
It is mad.
It's completely mad.
How there's not much of Prince Andrew and all that. It's just
mad,
insane. It is mad, that is.
Like how though? Give me an answer now, Tom. Tell me.
And
how.
don't forget, the royals employ a very, very expensive PR company to manage their PR and everything.
That's the other thing. Like, how much money you say that they bring in so much money to the country through tourism. How much money are they spending on security, on fucking all the publicists, on all the fucking...
They own so much land, it's incredible as well. So much land. think it's called the Crown Estate. I've got a funny feeling that
Go on, sorry.
a retail park in Liverpool is owned by them.
I'm going to completely get this story wrong, but I remember seeing a documentary about it, and it was caused uproar. It was, I think they weren't happy it went out, but to kind of control the price of kind of, it's either milk or like dairy products or like cow farming and stuff like that. Obviously, to control it, there needs to be some certain regulations and rules. So there are certain times where if you own land, the government will pay you not to grow anything.
To grow it, right?
Yeah. It's something along those lines.
Right.
It's along the lines of, well, if you grow it, then it'll bring the price down of there or something like that.
Yeah, because there's too much supply.
There's too much supply, so you can only grow certain things. The Queen owns that much land that she's just getting paid by the government off this land. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's mad that, isn't it?
Because she owns fucking that much of it. The government are paying her not to do anything with it. How the fuck is that? How is the homeless people on the streets and there's a fucking 80-odd-year-old woman or 90-odd getting paid because fucking hundreds of years ago, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, someone went, I'll have that land.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Insane. And also, you think, when there's a new raw baby or a wedding, you think the amount of people camp out. Like, I cannot, like, people. There was a guy on Twitter not so long ago, and when all this was coming out about Meghan and Harry, and he was dressed head to toe in Union Jack, and he was like the main geezer that
There's
always.
something wrong with those people, isn't there?
It's like, have you not got anything better to do? Like, you need to be at work. Don't just like camp out and they're there waving the flags, aren't they? Like, they don't like. I can guarantee you, Meghan and Harry don't give a Frenchman's fuck about you.
Yeah.
So don't give a fuck about them and look after your own.
I'm thinking, like, what could make me get to that level of hysteria? Hysteria? I don't know. I don't think there's a thing that would make me go like,
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Mad, isn't it?
It's fucking pathetic.
It's called the Crown Estate. The Crown Estate is a collection of lands and holdings in the territory of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, belonging to the British monarch as a corporate sole, making it the sovereign's public estate, which is neither government property nor part of the monarch's private estate, which is 14.3 billion.
Revenue 1.9 billion. Are you taking the fucking piss? 1.9 billion revenue.
I've got a funny feeling Aintree Retail Park is owned by the Crown Estate. I've got a funny feeling. I might be wrong here. Yes.
But you know what I mean? How does it stop though? You're saying you don't want to. How does it stop? How do you not have a royal family?
Well,
they're not going to abdicate it, are they, themselves, and say we don't feel that.
The thing is, in 2008, if you remember that famous picture of during the riots, which I'll show you here now, and I'll put on YouTube, which was them stuck in the car, and there was a time during those, I think, I can't fucking find it, royal car.
Riots or something.
Riot. Do you remember that photo there? So they attacked Charles and Camilla's
Camilla,
car.
yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And during that time, obviously, not 2008, right? Because it was later. It was 2010, wasn't it? That's a bit later, 2011. But I think during that time, there was a lot of problems in the obviously we'd just gone through a recession. People were thinking, people had lost jobs, and they're thinking, how are these royals driving around? And all these, I've got all this stuff, and I think that's all completely gone now. It's completely forgotten about because you have to look at Prince William and Kate's wedding. I mean, that was enormous. The amount of people that it's fantastic. We're having parties in the street for their wedding, and it was as a PR. Obviously, it's not a PR stunt. It might well be, but as a PR for them, it's fantastic because it's more of a way to drum up support within the UK. Because the only people that's going to topple the royal family is going to be us, in essence. Not that we're going to
like an uprising or something. What do you mean, like
is it the only people that's going to start questioning why the royal family exist is the 60 or 70 million people in the UK.
The rest of the world think, wow, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, how it's a great point you make, those riots, you know, there was a bit of the potential end, but it's like, how shit do things need to get for people to go, this is enough. I'm fed up being on the breadline. I'm fed up working, you know, fucking 70 hours a week just to be able to live, to survive. I'm fed up of fucking being skint every weekend. I'm fed up of everything whilst looking at these people living these lavish lifestyles. Just because of...
But I've got nothing wrong with people who've earned that money.
Oh, yeah,
and,
mate, hell.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Business people, entrepreneurs and
definitely.
fucking go-getters. This is a family who...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Just being born. Yeah. The innocence of children always kind of works best.
Yeah.
Alba said to me yesterday, she's fascinated to know about me getting blown up and all that. And when I talk about Afghanistan, I just always say... She says, why are the bad guys in Afghanistan? And I just said, oh, well, we went there to stop the bad guys because they wouldn't let the little children go to school. And so Alba's like, oh, I love going to school with my friends. And I say, well, if you live in Afghanistan, you can't go to school. And she went, oh, I'm really lucky to have been born in England and not in Afghanistan. And I said, you are really lucky, yeah, because of that. That's the same thing. They were lucky to have been born into that family.
Yeah,
and yet now they have got every fucking privilege that you could ever...
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
And that's not their fault, obviously, is it? That they was born that way. But I wonder if I don't know, the younger brothers like William and Kate will ever turn around one day and go, fucking taking the piss a bit here, aren't we? Should we just knock this on the head and go?
Yeah.
And that's what Prince Harry and Meghan have kind of tried to do, I guess, and they got fucking slated for it.
Yeah. I think the older generation obviously really support, but I do feel that there's not a care anymore for, you know, like, look at the us just having a conversation going, yeah, fucking real family, who cares, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think, mate, as well, like, there's so much more pressing issues going on. Like, why should you?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It is. Sorry, I just remember seeing the Crown Estate on the Aintree retail shop on the, you know, the retail park in Aintree. But I think it is actually owned by the Crown Estate. It says there 2008 the Crown Estate. So,
and I think as well, mate,
which is mad.
It's where you're from. Like I was, I won't name the charity, but I went on a skiing trip with this charity, and they're full of fucking people who are chasing MBEs and OBEs, and like they're all up the fucking Royals' arse, and one of them on there is on the committee are going out with like bloody someone's daughter, like, and anyway, they're all fucking, and I just like, it wasn't my scene. I went skiing with, listen, I'm very grateful that I was lucky enough to go on a skiing trip with them, but they got a lot out of me as well, because I'm just quite like streetwise, and I'll talk to anyone, and I'm quite like that. They had all these big business people in from London, fucking loaded, in Switzerland, skiing with all these injured soldiers. And because I was like quite charismatic, got a story, they were putting me with all these millionaires, you know, getting them all looking loose, and then they were all donating to the charity. So the charity were benefiting.
Yeah.
I was benefiting because I was getting a week skiing, but it was in Cloisters and Prince Charles were there, and they're all like, oh yeah. And I was like, fucking get me out of here. This is fucking horrible. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's only when you're from cities like Liverpool and stuff like that you realise that this is a fucking different world. And you can I think you kind of push back against it. Well, I certainly did.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of those people were like, oh, love to be a part of your world.
Yeah, just accept and go, yeah. Definitely. How we went from Brian Reed to...
one of the most popular ones, then the Lee Butler one.
Yeah, Lee Butler. What a cracking episode that was. It was good, that, wasn't it?
He was funny. It was funny, but whilst talking on some really fucking big topics. Drug addiction.
Robert Ferns, that was crazy, wasn't it?
That was a really sad one. Yeah, it's fucking hell. I think we're having
that was heavy, that,
myself.
wasn't it?
Yeah, really sad. I was fucking had a big lump in my throat through most of that.
I know.
So I was a little boy getting leukemia. Yeah.
And there we are back in 2020
then,
now.
Yeah, it's up to Eunice. Eunice was a cracker. Loads of messages about that.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Loads. Paddy, entrepreneur, really good. Tony back in, and then Cara last week.
Good, isn't it?
I've loved it, mate.
It's quality,
really,
isn't it?
Really enjoyed it. And again, there's loads more coming on. Loads of boss guests lined up. It's I just think the biggest thing, and it's testament now that we've been doing it a year, you've just got to kind of enjoy it, haven't you? Because what's the point? If you're not enjoying something, what is the point?
Yeah, definitely. There's some of the conversations we've had. I mean, you only have to look at a selection of them, just the mad stuff that we've heard and being able to share with people, and it's just insane. I can't stress it enough how much just even being able to ask questions and think about the questions that you're asking a little bit more, that sort of thing, and trying to, little things like trying to make people feel comfortable, really helps people, open up, and just, it's been what a crazy 50 episode. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it, mate.
And what's cool is though, mate, is like, again, if you ever, and that's what I hope people take from the podcast, is like, if you ever wanted to speak to a stunt woman, how the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
But now people can go, like a podcast, there's a stunt woman there.
Yeah.
You want to speak to Jamie Webster's a fucking cool, popular guy now, couple of singles out. And how did go and watch the interview?
Yeah.
They're all there, aren't they now, which I think is quite cool.
And all this stemmed from me pinging you in an email.
Sliding into my DMs.
Yeah.
You read the book, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did you read my book?
I can't remember now. I think you'd done. I think I was on Twitter and you'd put something about Liverpool Football Club or something.
It's weird, isn't it, how it all comes about?
So and then click through, and obviously because I did the other podcast, I was like, I want to know who this guy is. Anyway, then I bought your book, and then sent you an email. Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
How the world works.
So we've got, I think this one, if we can put this one out this Monday, and then Rob next week, that'd be cool, because what I think it'd be good, well, I'm on now away now, thankfully podcast will still be running as normal, but I'm away, which I wanted to touch on, maybe to finish on, and it's the thing about, again, just to try and, I don't want to try and kind of be this preacher, you got to live your life this way, do you know what I mean? But, so I'm really lucky, my dad retired in December, he's done 30 years in the fire brigade, and he's never been to America, never had like a mad holiday, not like mad as in we're gonna go fucking,
strip clubs and
maybe that, but other crazy naughty behaviour, but no, he's just never done like as in travelling wise, getting extreme. So we're going to having a night in London, then we've got 2 nights in Madrid, gonna go and watch Atletico Madrid against Liverpool, managed to get a couple of tickets, and then on the Wednesday morning I've got a flight from Madrid 7 a.m, land in Heathrow at 8:30, and I've then got a 3-hour wait in London, and then I fly to Vegas, so praying that there's no fucking delays on that flight, and then I'll be in Vegas on Wednesday, and we've got 5 nights in Vegas, and hopefully going to get tickets for the Tyson Fury fight. And the idea is, he's 55, retired, bit of a lad and dad holiday, something we said we'd start doing once he retired, and it's going to be like a special trip. Me and my dad, he's my best mate, a couple of nights in Spain, 5 nights in Vegas, a week away, cannot wait. But it also makes me sad, because like, he's 55, and he's had to wait all his life to do this, you know what I mean? And I'm very privileged that I'm getting to do it with him now, and I'm the one who's able to experience that with him. But it's not like making me sad, it's more just a life. And
imagine being able to do all this when he was younger.
Yeah. And there's no right answer. There's no. I'm trying to say. I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it. There's no answer I can give right now. But wouldn't it be great if there was a way for us all to live our life now that we all didn't have to work 9 till 5? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure we're all clever enough now. There's enough money in the world. There's enough. I don't know. There's enough people to figure stuff out where we could all live like a nicer life. That me dad doesn't have to wait,
So many people are like that though, and I think 55 as well. Your dad's at the tail end of, obviously there's in inverted brackets, retirement crisis anyway, with more and more people living older. And I think obviously the retirement age in the UK now is 65, I think. So your dad's lucky to be able to, and he's really lucky in the fact that a lot of people who retire now have to keep some sort of part-time work going.
He's got a great pension with the fire brigade. He's really lucky. Yeah. And I just think that's what I mean. It makes me sad, and that's why I'm not preaching to like go and fucking quit your job and go and fucking travel around the world. And listen, if you want to do that and you can afford it, go and do it. What I mean by when I say that is like, just try and look at things a bit differently. Try and maybe, if you do hate your job, look at trying to change it. If do you know what I mean? Just don't get bogged down in doing stuff that you don't want to do, just to wait till you're 55 so you can go, oh, I can have me week away now.
Yeah, have this. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I hope me and my dad have the best time ever, and I'm going to do everything I can to make him have the best week of his life. He hasn't seen Liverpool since he took me in 1996. I think was the last time he went.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Because he went when he went in the 80s. He saw them win everything. He just got, I think, bored. He's seen them win everything, and then they went shit in the 90s. He was like, well, and then he had kids, and then he had to bring us up. So he hasn't been properly. So and then he's never been to Vegas. He always wants to go to Vegas. But my thing is, like, just don't wait till you're 55 to live that life you want to live.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
definitely.
Don't work your whole week just to live for like the Friday and Saturday. Don't be living for the weekend.
I think so many people as well get into that thing. Yeah, I feel like my dad's the same. It's like, I've only got 4 more years till.
My dad was like that for so long.
Yeah, I remember you saying, yeah. I've only got 4. Yeah, he does 4 more years, and then. But it's sad, really, isn't it? Because you just live wishing you 4 years.
And it's like, okay, before you're done. It's like, so we get back from Vegas next week. It's like, all right, Dad, so you've done your 30 years. You fucking had to slog for. You've had your week away now, what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, what I'm trying to say is, don't have life like, don't try and live your life like this. You're working from pillar to post. Like, look at it as just do things you want to try and do, and try and enjoy the things you do. And I guess that's by having these hobbies or passions, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
If I can give any advice, and when I try and do the talks in schools, I always say to kids, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. If you can't dream to think, I'd love to have my own studio with my own podcast, and I'll do a little bit of this on the side, and I'll do a bit of this and do a bit of that, and I'll just work 3 or 4 different jobs, all that I love, because I love doing this podcast and it pays me studio, then why can't you do that?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? If you want to...
Look at Bren.
Yeah, if you want to fucking go and learn how to water ski in the Albert Dock, fucking go and do it, and then
Yeah, exactly.
Go and have a go at doing it. And again, I know that's hard the older you get, but you can still have your passions, and you never know if it's a good enough passion, you're good at it. Then
never know where
a weekend passion or a midweek passion like this for us. Who knows where we'll be in 5 years time?
Yeah. When I first did mine when it all went Pete Tong with the first ever guy I had on my podcast, I didn't think I'd ever be sat in the same room as John Bishop or
there you go.
Jamie
It's a perfect example, isn't it? Your first go at podcast, and how many people do you reckon? That's a great analogy. That how many people, when they've plucked up the courage and they've went, you know what, I want to start podcasting, and they've sat down and they've done it, they've spent a couple of quid on all the bits, and they're thinking, right, okay, first one, 5 minutes in, fuck, it's expired. You've got this fella on the phone from America who's given up his time. You don't want to sound unprofessional. You're like, fuck. How many people?
And it was hard enough as well, because he said I'd had 4 other emails of people going, where is it? And I said, well, it doesn't exist yet. So they went, so no one's listened to it. I went, yeah, you're right.
What do you mean it doesn't exist?
So because I had to get someone on for the first, so it didn't even exist.
Oh, I see what you mean.
They were like, I can't find it on iTunes.
Yeah, because it's not there. Yeah.
It's fucking not there.
I'll tell you what, and I reckon I might have done this because I'm not that tech savvy. This is the only reason I wouldn't have been honest. Because I'm not that tech savvy to have went, oh shit, I'll get me the card quick and do it. I reckon I would have said to the fella, yeah, go on, carry on.
And just
I'd be too embarrassed to say, and then just never fucking spoke to him again. Do you know what I mean? But how many people would do that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that would have been one option. The other option would have been to just say, oh look, I'm really sorry, we're going to have to reschedule because it's gone wrong. Or the other option would have been to crack on, which you did. Now, so if the first 2 options you would have went down, you probably would have never done a podcast ever again.
It'd have been...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, mate, yeah.
Even the third one that you did do, you still might have thought, oh, fucking hell, I don't know whether I can, that was a bit fucking... And then, thankfully, you've cracked on, you've persevered with it, you've been resilient with it. And then, 18 months on or something, you've fucking done podcasts with one of the biggest comedians in the UK, biggest Sky Sports presenter.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Liverpool fucking legend, entrepreneurs up and down the country, adventurous, people who've climbed Everest, rode the Atlantic
Crazy.
Ocean. The point is, fucking pursue your goals. Don't do it for the fucking wrong reasons. Like, don't do it to make fucking money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you've said time and time, the stuff that you've thought I can make a
and again,
few quid here, it's all gone.
And I just think the times when I've fucking made loads of money and the times when I've made fuck all, I just keep on resonating to that Tyson Fury, which I mentioned before. He's fucking made millions, do you know what I mean? I've trained with him, and he's just a normal fella. And you can tell he's not, don't get me wrong, he plays up to it and stuff in the sense that don't get me wrong, he's got a nice car and stuff, and he'll have a nice house and stuff, but he fucking loves doing nothing more than just being with his kids.
Yeah.
You know, being in the gym, doing normal shit.
Yeah.
And I think...
Look at you because you used to do talks in churches, didn't you, and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. For fucking
and
nothing.
now it's your business.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I started off doing them for nothing. Old women and fucking just falling asleep.
Parish church.
I'm doing a talk actually in a few weeks. It's quite funny. And again, this is the thing where like I like doing stuff for free when it's passionate to me. I don't mind charging a company X amount, but then I'll do something for free, and that's fucking up to me.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? What I want to do.
Yeah.
And anyway, there's a woman got in touch with me, and someone's give me a detail. Or I think someone's been in one of my talks that I've done. Went home and told their mum, and the mum's in a nursing home, and the mum's went, "It'll be good to come in and speak to everyone in the home." So this mum's, grandma, I'm guessing, has emailed me and said, "Andy, can you come and do a talk?" But at first she didn't really specify what it was, and I said, so I just sent this generic email of what I normally do send to companies, and then she come back and was like, oh no, sorry, she said in an email, "We have a little whip round, so let me know what your fee is, and we'll have a little whip round with everyone." And I was like, "Listen, fucking, you're not having a fucking whip round," you know what I mean? I said, "I'll just come and do a talk for nothing, and then I'll bring a few books, and if anyone wants to buy a book, you can buy a book." She's like, "Oh, Andy, thanks so much. Just to let you know, the youngest age is probably me. I'm 75, and our oldest is, I think, 103. But we all can't wait to hear you."
Oh.
So I'm going to go and do a talk for them.
That's quality, that though, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait. So I'm going to have to adapt it a bit, make sure there's no there's a video where a bomb goes off. I'll have to take that out. I'm not having no one fucking having a heart
That's really
attack.
nice though, isn't it? Yeah.
So
really nice.
up in Blundell Sands, I think it is. Old people's home there.
You'll probably never even imagine how grateful they will be as well.
Yeah,
after the end of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's loads of them as well, you know. About 50 of them, I think.
Oh, is there? Yeah.
Yeah. Youngest 73 or 75, I think. 72 or 75.
They'll probably not stop talking about it, all 50 of them, for the next 3 weeks.
I think I'll be in there for a few hours, I reckon. you know the questions and the talks afterwards. But that's the great thing about again, money side of it is great. You go into fucking Nike in China, get paid, great. But the enjoyment side of it, how nice is that? To be able to give something back like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? And stuff. And again, like we said with the podcast, it would be nice if we were getting paid bloody £1,000 an episode, or like watch Joe Rogan get paid, I don't know, per episode, 50 grand or whatever. But a fella in Tesco to me going, "Andy, fucking hell, that podcast was a belter." I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's quality.
You said it all the time, the messages we've got. So, you know, just try and do things for your passion. That's the big thing.
It's good that you don't think you're too big time as well, you know, to do something like that as well.
Oh, nah, fucking hell.
Do you know what I mean?
I think, mate, as well, mate.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, if you know, you would have, when you see companies like Nike and things like that, and you think, you know, a nursing home.
I think, mate, as well, you can be inspired in two different ways. You can be inspired not to be like someone, and you can be inspired to be like someone. And I won't say his name, but there's a very famous adventurer who was asked to do a speaking gig. This is a funny story. I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before, but a lady gets in touch with me and she says, "Hi, Andy, I'm looking for a guest speaker for our local running club. We've got our awards evening coming up. We normally, this is the first time we've ever asked a speaker to come in. We'd be really grateful if you can send us across your fees." So I sent her across what I offered and give her a price. And she said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, Andy, you're a bit out of our price range. I'm sorry, we're just a small club. We all pay £3 subs, and it's just a bit of an awards evening, just to kind of recognise the volunteers and the people who've been coming every week, you know, come rain or shine. etc. I said, listen, give it a kind of discounted rate. And I said, I'll bring a load of books, if you can kind of publicise me books a little bit, I'll come and do it for this, and done it for next to nothing for them, and went and done it. Really lovely lady she was, you could tell she liked the heart and soul of this community. Really amazing woman who'd worked really hard to keep this little running club going, and it's grew and grew and grew, and it was really special to be there. And the first ever time they had a speaker in, she come up to me at the end of the night, she said, Andy, I feel really sorry. She said, I feel really bad. I said, why? And she said, because you've come here, you know, you've done it for next to nothing, and you know, I know this is your livelihood, and you've come up, you've given your night up, you've come over here, and you weren't my first pick, and I feel really bad that you've done all this for us. It's been amazing. People can't stop going on about it. They're already saying, how can we top this next year? But you wasn't the first person I went to, and I feel really bad now because you've done all this for me. And I said, listen, don't worry about it. It's just grateful it went down well. And she went, the person I asked was this guy, and I won't mention his name because he's quite, fuck him, he's not going to listen to this. It's Ranald Fines, it was.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he goes running in their local area. And so they thought that'd be great. We're a running club in this area, Ranald Fines, giving back to the community in the area. Surely he would be a perfect speaker, and he would have been.
Yeah, well, yeah.
How much do you reckon he wanted to charge them?
$8,000.
15.
15 grand.
He said to this little old lady, I can come and speak for an hour at your sports gig. It's 15 grand.
Fucking hell.
And she went, we pay £2 a week. There's there's 60 of us. We pay £2 a week.
Yeah, give us 10 years and then.
Do you know what I mean? He
Bloody
said,
hell.
I can't do it then. So she was just so grateful that I'd done it, and I just thought, like, what a fucking. I thought I don't want to be like him. Do not want to be fucking ever like that. So I'm inspired not to be like him.
Yeah.
But then I'm also lucky that I grew up with a fella in my area called Jamie Carragher, who has lived 2 minutes away from me, has lived a dream, but fucking still gives back to that area every single day. I've been very lucky through circumstance. I'm now his mate. I go training with him every day, and I see what he's like every day, and how much he gives back, and how selfless he is with his time. You know, those videos that people kind of do for the weddings and stuff like that, he must do about fucking 2 of them a day.
Really?
I've videoed them. Sometimes after Jimmy goes, oh lads, record the video for me. And, you know...
What do you mean, videos for wedding? As in like...
just like congratulations, you know, Tom
right,
getting married, you know.
Yeah.
He does them fucking all the time for people and stuff, and I fucking hate asking him to do anything. Like, I've asked him a couple of times, like, if it's been for me dad, like, he's done one for me dad and stuff, and that, but, like... He must get asked.
Especially,
I fucking hell, I get asked all the time to ask him. I fucking hate it. People ask me to ask him. But he must get asked all the time. And he fucking does it for people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he gave an hour and a half to us.
And he gave an hour and a half to us. And I think that's the way to be. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much money you've got, who you are. You know, you never get too fucking big.
Definitely.
Boots, you know, always stay humble. And I think he's the person you want to try and inspire to be like. So... kind of lucky to have a role model in my life that you can think, be a bit more like that.
Good way to end.
I've loved this, mate.
Yeah. It's fucking 1 hour 40. It flies,
really?
by, doesn't it?
Boss, so
I know I always say, don't I, at the end of every podcast, God, 1 hour, it's just because it genuinely...
Yeah,
I know everyone's say like, all right, we get that it's an hour and 50 or an hour, but it's just because I look at that once and go, bloody hell, where's the time gone?
So we've got Rob on next week.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back then, and we'll get guests lined up.
Sorted, mate. Enjoy your time in Vegas as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.